Hi guys. A lot of people have been asking me like what happened, why did you guys break up, like all these questions, and like now you finally get to hear the answers to them. I'm gonna call this person Brad and the other person Sarah. Me and Brad started dating a little bit more than like 2 years ago. It was good at first because everything's good at first. One day, his friends invited me and my friends over to his house. And as we were coming, we saw girls leaving. And later on that night, I found out that he had hooked up with one of the girls. Obviously, I was mad, but I was like, oh, like, we're not dating, we're talking. One day, we were laying on his couch, and he got a text from his ex. And I was like, why is your ex texting you? And he was like, oh, like, I have to get my stuff back. And I was like, oh, okay, that's reasonable. And honestly, that was the best excuse he's ever had. One day I went on his phone for something. I was like, oh, can I search something up on your phone? And I went on the Instagram app. Let me know why I was on some girl's page. And I held the phone up to him. I was like, why are you on this girl's page? And his excuse was, oh, it's for my boy Andrew. We're gonna call him Andrew. And I was like, Andrew has a whole ass girlfriend, like. And he was like, oh, like, it's not that serious. It's not that serious, blah, blah, blah. And it clicked that they would Snapchat too because I would see her name. And she was 15 years old at the time. He was 19 years old. And I DM'd the girl and I was like, hey, like, is there anything going on with you and Brad? Like, you can tell me, like. And she denied everything. She said that they were just friends, like all this stuff. And I was like, whatever, like maybe I'm crazy. Because people are always crazy for being right. A few months later, she DM'd me and she was like, I'm sorry, it's all true. Like, I feel so bad. Like, I didn't know. He said you guys weren't talking. Basically, he was getting nudes from people. And I was like, thank you so much for telling me. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like girls should help other girls out. So Brad came over my house and I confronted him. And he was like, that's not true. You're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy, crazy. She said, oh, he just messaged me on Snapchat saying, tell her it's all a lie. She doesn't need to know. Telling her to lie to me. And I stayed with him because in my head, that wasn't physically cheating. And now I know, like, that's not right. Like, that's still cheating. And one day we were hanging out and some girl sent him a message and I was like, who is that? Like, that's not one of your friends. And he was like, I don't know who it is. Just open it. And it said, LMAO. LMAO, like, I was like, so what did you send? And he was like, I didn't send anything. Why would a girl message LMAO for no reason? And that turns out to be one of the girls he was talking to. And one day, some girl, we'll call her Eileen. She messaged me on Instagram and she was like, are you still with Brad? And I was like, yes. And why? And she was like, oh, he keeps flirting with my friend. And she's like telling me this. And I'm telling you. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, do you have proof? And she sent me the proof. It was over Snapchat. And basically, he was saying, oh, I have a whip. Like, we can chill. To these 15-year-old girls. And I confronted him. And of course, he was like, oh, it's not like that. It's not like that. Like, me and my friends wanted to go to a party. And I was like, that's not what you said. And basically, he came up with some lame-ass excuse. There was another time where I was sleeping over his house and it was pretty late. And I asked him, can I shut off your alarm? Like, there's no reason you have to wake up at 5 in the morning. And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And I went to go pick up his phone and it said Snapchat from, and it was one of his exes. And I handed him the phone and I was like, why is this girl Snapchatting you? And he was like, oh, who is that? Who is that? I don't know who that is. And I was like, if I know who it is, you definitely know who it is. I left his house at like 12, I don't know, it was late. And my dumb ass was like, I'll talk to you in the morning. And he's texting my phone nonstop. Baby, it's not like that. It's not like that. I love you so much. Like, I love this about you. I love this about you. It wasn't like that. You're the only one I love. I was like, whatever. In my weak ass mindset at the time, I was like, okay, like, if you didn't mean to message her, like, DM her on Instagram and tell her. So I DM'd the girl. I was like, I know you've been Snapchatting Brad. Like, is there anything going on? Like, I just want to know. She wasn't the nicest. She was basically like, it's trust. Like, you need to learn it. He messages her on Instagram and he says, sorry, I didn't mean to add you back on Snapchat. It was a mistake. My girlfriend got mad. This is not how I wanted to start my 2019. My girlfriend got mad. This is like, okay. And I had all of his passwords because he gave them to me because I didn't trust him, obviously. And now I know that, like, never fucking do that again. Like, just don't be with someone if you can't trust them for obvious reasons. So after him not wanting to show me what he said to her, I went on his Instagram and I looked. I was like, can you send me what you said? Because he didn't know I was on his Instagram. And he was like, no, I'll just tell you what she said. Red flag number, I don't even know what. And I told him I was on his account looking at it. And he changed his password. So I couldn't see what she said when she replied. Or either he could unsend it. And that was the last straw. I was like, that is sketchy. Like, there's something going on. So I broke up with him through text on our anniversary. Now, that sounds really bad, but I don't owe him anything. Like, literally anything. He texted and called my mom every Sunday, I think, saying how much he missed me, how much he fucked up the most important thing in his life. A few weeks after, I unblocked him and I messaged him. And I was like, hey, I want to work things out. I hate being alone. He said he, like, didn't want a relationship right now. So I blocked him again and went on about my life. A few weeks later, he called my mom and he was like, I need to talk to Gianna. It's so important. And I unblocked him again, and I started talking to him and he was like, we need to work things out. Like, I miss you so much. Like, I don't know what I'm doing without you. Like, everything's different now. Like, I feel so empty. I love you. We started hanging out a lot, and one day I blocked him because I realized that I deserve a lot more. Brad gets so wasted one day that he calls my mom asking for me, and my mom handed me the phone and she was like, and I picked it up. I was like, you need to stop calling my mom. Like, this is ridiculous. My mom had to go get him at a friend's house because he couldn't drive, and something happened in his personal life that I'm obviously not going to mention. And I messaged him to see how it was and how things were, and right after sending that message, I blocked him. He messaged my mom something that made me message him, and this time I knew about the girl that he started talking to. I told him, I was like, I don't want to be talking to you if you're talking to both of us at the same time. Like, that's ridiculous. And basically he was telling me it wasn't that serious. Like, I don't even talk to her. I haven't talked to her for weeks. I love you. Like, I don't like her. And I believed him. So we started talking and we started hanging out a lot, and we were sleeping over each other's houses, and things would be off. Like, he would turn his location off if he was at my house. He has to stop sharing his location with his mom or something. I don't know. That's obviously a lie. My friend sent me her Instagram post one day, and it said liked by, and then it said Brad. So this doesn't seem right. And I messaged her. I was like, are you and Brad still talking? And she was like, yes, we've been talking ever since January 17th. And I was like, taken back a little, because, like, how are you going to start talking to someone 2 days after a relationship? And I was like, girl, I'm so sorry. Like, I've been talking to him on and off for so and so months. And I told her everything that happened. We've been sleeping at each other's houses. We've been hanging out. Like, basically telling her everything. Everything she needs to know. And I even sent her all the texts that he sent my mom continuously, like, throughout the months. She didn't answer. They're still together, so like that's on them. That's none of my business. Like, I don't really care. People are like, oh, you're so bothered. Like, no, if I was bothered, I literally would have gotten back with him. People always tell me, like, give advice. So I feel like this would be a good time to, like, give advice. If somebody cheats on you, they knew what they were doing. It's not like they have no idea. Even if they were drunk, it really doesn't matter. Ladies, if you're ever in a situation like me, and it wasn't physically cheating, but it was online, that is still cheating. If someone cheats on you, they don't care about you. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about how you would react. They don't have any respect for you. I'm sorry. Like, but no harsh feelings. Love you all.